Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I made another calculator. I'm going to do an update on my HVAC calcs calculator because I added a bunch of stuff to that. But I made this other calculator for electrical calculations. It's also available for free. It's for iOS devices. You would need to first download FileMaker Go from the App Store, and then you can download this file and open it in FileMaker Go. And at the top of my page in the description, there is a link to my public Dropbox, and you can download this and all my other files. Let's take a quick look. First one is electric box fill calculations. And what you basically will do is you're going to start from the top. You can put a name, you can put a date in there. You'll select the box you're using. Let's clear one out and start over. Start a new one. So you put the date in there. Let's say put today's date in there. Give it a name if you want. Sample. Oop. Let's select a box. Let's go with a 4-inch square. So it'll tell you is your box volume, which is 30.3. And then over here on the left, you can actually change that if your box is a little bit different. If you have plaster rings, raised covers, extensions, let's say they add some cubic inches. Say that adds 10 cubic inches to it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to select what you're doing first. You got conductors. You got some 12 average wire gauge. You got 10 of those. And then you have bare ground. You will have 10 of those also. Each wire is 2. Let's say you have 4. Select the device smaller than 2 inches. What I do is I put average wire gauge in here because the device is calculated based on the wires connected to it. And right now we only have 12 wire connected in the box. And we have one of those. And what else? Internal clamp. We'll throw an internal clamp in there. And it'll do all your calculations. You've got 31.5 in the box. You see that in green. And it's green because it doesn't exceed the box volume. And that's simply it for box fill calculations. Same thing with conduit. Conduit's a little more involved. Starting from the top, you'll see... basically, you'll select your conduit, say whether or not it's a nipple. I'm going to take override off now. And what will happen is as you start entering either in the single conductor, you'll come down here, you can select any kind of wire and the wire size and the quantity. And if you have a cable, you can put cable diameter in there. And it'll just do all your calculations for you. Now, if you have 3, of course, it'll check out if you have a jamming ratio issue. If you had 4, that disappears. Let's put this back in here. Calculates everything you need to know, and as you're calculating it, we're in these 2 boxes up in the upper right hand corner. It'll tell you the minimum raceway size. If you want to override that, say you want to go bigger, you can. You can simply select yes. You can pick a different size, and then down the bottom left here, it'll tell you all your fill percentages and your actual percentages and everything like that. I think that's pretty handy. I like that conduit fill. Next, then for conduit fill, if it's all the same conductor, this does it a different way. You simply can select your conduit size. It's not a nipple, is or isn't a nipple. Your wire name, your wire size will tell you how many maximum number of conductors you can fit in a in that size conduit. That's only for similar conductors. Voltage drop. Same thing with a voltage drop. Now you can do single phase or 3-phase. You select your wire type, your average wire gauge, your number of strands. That only plays in effect. It doesn't play in effect for both types of calculations. Then you can calculate your voltage drop 2 ways. You can enter your feet on the left side and your amps and your volts, and do it by circular mills, which shows in this case 1.53. Or you can go with the ohms method. This wire here is 167 degrees or 75 degrees Celsius. If you have a different wire temperature, you can change it right there. If you need to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius, have a little conversion. Then you put your length in, your amps, your volts, and you get your voltage drop. In this case, is 1.25% voltage drop. That's voltage drop. Voltage adjustments and corrections. When there's 3 or more current carrying conductors in a raceway or cable, we have to do some adjustments. So same thing, pick your wire type, pick your wire name, pick your conductor temperature. It'll only be available based on the type of wire. And now you're going to derate them. You can either derate the amps if you know the average wire size, or if you want to calculate the conductor size on the right when you know the amps. You can do one of 2 ways, and that's voltage adjustment. Maximum conductor ampacity. All right, this one I basically have every wire known that I could find listed here. So if I'm going to pick, you want to pick copper, and you're going to pick THHN, and your temperature. Let's pick a different one, THW. There's 2 different temperatures. Pick 75, and you want a 14 wire. There's your maximum amps, 20. Pick an 8 wire, 50. And you can clear it out and show them all. Fan laws. This is also was in HVAC calcs, all the different types of fan laws. You can calculate all kinds of things with fan laws. In the middle here, I have determined belt length pulley from the pulley diameters. You can calculate SEER. You can measure BTUs. This is all electrical calculations. On the left here, near the top, you have calculate estimated amp draw for blower motors. When you know all your ohms, how many amps you should expect, and when you know your amps, how many ohms you should expect. In the middle here, we have 3-phase voltage imbalance calculation. Bottom left, calculating CFM for electric heat based on your volts, amps, and your delta T. And the bottom right, calculating motor horsepower, 3-phase or single phase. And that's all the good stuff there for fans. Capacitors, this is checking a capacitor under load. I have a little sample here. You can follow along if you want. And we'll do that real quick here. So if you have a 35.5, 40. All right, so if you have a 440, oops, man, the fingers aren't working today. 440 volt, 35, and you have a plus or minus tolerance of 5% in 50 or 60 hertz. So let's say you read 363, let's say you read, let's go back to the picture real quick. How many amps did we read here? 4.8 amps. So you read put your clamp on there, and you got 4.8 amps, and you got 363 volts. Poof, there you go. It shows that it passes. Then you can also, I have these already filled in, but you can also, if you want to figure out, let's see, 440, if you need to put capacitors in parallel or series, this will do the calculations for you. As you're probably aware, when you do parallel, it adds them together, your microfarads, and when you do them in series, it does a different calculation. It gives you a lower amount. That's capacitors. On the iPhone, this will look a little different. It'll just be one panel. You'll see one panel at a time. Ohm's law. This is fairly useful, I think. Enter any 2 values, and it gives you all the rest of the values. So if you happen to measure 238 volts, and you're pulling 11 amps, this tells you everything else you need to know, how many ohms, how many watts, mega ohms, etc. Calculate wire length. This one, I have some fun with this. This is fairly accurate. If you had a spool, let's say you had a spool of thermostat wire, and you don't know how much you have on the roll. you have access to both ends, obviously. You just measure the ohms across them, and if you that's probably too high. You put in the ohms measurements, it'll give you the approximate length of the wire. So say, I got 700 feet on that roll. This comes in handy when you have a bunch of rolls laying around. And you know, I know I need 50 feet, so you measure it and you have enough. And there's some couple conversion things here: digital to construction tape measure, calculations, temperature, and pressure. And that's basically it. I hope you find it useful. I'm always interested in feedback, or if you want me to add any kind of calculations or remove any kind of calculations, or if you find any mistakes, of course, just let me know. Thanks for watching.